Autobots, transform!
What's up, everybody? I am the 80s Transformer fan, and you are watching George Reviews, and we are back with another Transformers review. And it's a review of a Transformer, but it does not transform. It is Robot Enhanced Design, or R.E.D Transformers. It is an Optimus Prime that does not transform. It is from Hasbro. And actually, it looks like a giant Super 7 reaction figure, actually. And it's kind of weird because it's like they gave Super 7 a license to make reaction figures, and then they came and made one bigger and better for like $2 or $3 more. Because I believe the reaction figures are like $15.99, and this thing is $19.99, which is like insane. At Walmart, I think it's $18.99. So why buy the reaction figure that they licensed when they made like a big one? But I'm gonna check it out and see if that is actually the case. But here is the packaging. It is a Generation 1 cartoon styled Optimus Prime in the package. And again, it does not transform. Here's some artwork with him like tearing away from the red. I don't quite understand that, but the paint coming off. It's kind of cool, but I don't get it. Just Optimus Prime right here. Hasbro non-converting figure right there. So it does not transform. And you can see the side, his accessories in the side of the packaging. He has 2 sets of hands, an energy axe, his blaster, and the matrix of leadership. The back of the box, I wish these boxes would put the other products in the line like the old school toys did. But anyway, it shows you all the features and the contents of the box right back here. Nothing special, bottom and top. And let's get this guy open. So a bit of tape at the top. Sliding Prime out, he's in half a clam. See if it'll stand up for me. And the side of the packaging has the weapons. There's a little insert inside, and I think a tiny bit of instructions. Check that out. And I think nothing further in the box, nothing worth noting. Oh, there is a little blueprint of Optimus Prime inside, I guess, for what that's worth. Anyway, check this out. See, this is actually instructions or a warning label. I think it's warning, choking hazard type thing. So that's it. No true instructions. I guess none are needed. Take Optimus Prime out. He has one tie down on him. Alright. Got Optimus Prime out. And I can tell you, when I saw these figures, they had Megatron. I think the first wave, or the current wave, is Optimus Prime, Megatron, Soundwave. And I knew not to grab them all. I'm not overly impressed out of the packaging, but we're going to take a look anyway. Alright, let's bring Optimus Prime closer and take a look. We'll start with his head. And he has 2 paint apps on his face, which is the ghost gray and the light blue eyes. You can see that. And then there's more gray on his forehead and his mouth plate. It's the same gray. The overall head is a blue plastic. The main head is kind of hard, but these little antennas on the side is a separate but same color plastic. It is softer, I'm assuming for safety reasons, on the antenna. And this one is glued tighter to the head than this side. You can bend this out further than this one. But it is 2 different pieces of blue plastic on the head. And this head is on a ball joint, and it is kind of loose. You can see that. Probably can pop it off, and pops off. It is a red piece of plastic. It's a double ball joint, but mine popped off at the neck, which is probably where it's loosest at, or more loose. And with the articulation point, you can move it forward or move it back, which is cool. And I'll go back over that when I hit articulation. The entire chest is a red plastic. Inside this chest, some clear windows, translucent clear. And you can see like a gray piece that houses the matrix and inner chest. A little bit of circuitry. I'll come to that. It has a molded Autobot symbol in right here. Instead of painting the background white, they use the same gray on the smokestacks. I'm assuming this gray smokestack is all red plastic with gray paint over it. And why they wouldn't use a separate piece, because down here, this piece right here is a separate piece, and it is like the cream plastic of his thighs, and they could have used that over here instead of just this gray. But coming down to his abdomen area, which is the grill of the truck, mine has some overspray over here. The outside of the grill is gray plastic, same gray plastic as this stripe right here. And if you can see it, if I can block some of the light, you can see where it's sprayed onto the grill over here. So that's a little bit messed up right there. And then this part right here doesn't have the best of paint apps on it right here. The gray striping is up on the red. Could have been done a little bit better. The waist is a cream plastic with some yellow paint on it, and it's a little bit thick. It could have been thinner, like the actual plastic mold itself should have been a little bit thinner. Then the little crotch piece is painted blue. That could have been done a little bit better. And oh, look at this. The paint app just stopped. They don't even continue it around to the back. It's supposed to be one piece, and I got some scraping on mine, brand new out of the box, but it does not even continue around with the paint apps. And we can see some blue plastic ball joints in the thighs while we're checking it out. The entire gigantic boot is all a hard blue plastic. It's very hard. Coming down to his feet is blue plastic. We got some stamping under here, 2002 Hasbro SA, made in Vietnam, some numbers. But I think that's about it. We have the little molded in backpack thing back here. Not a whole lot of detail on this figure, and I'm absolutely convinced that's what it was meant to be. What you see is what you're meant to get. It's not supposed to represent like a very deluxe class figure or heavy paint app figure. This is all you're supposed to get, but with the little paint job that's on here could have been done a little bit better. Alright, on to his articulation. Optimus Prime head is on a ball joint. You can look up this far, you can look down that far, and as robots go, they always look down to their chest. Head 360s, and he can wiggle or rock from side to side with that. Also, since I said it's on a ball joint, there is that ball joint. It's a double ball joint on a red piece of plastic into the blue. It unpegged at the neck. And I think mine could be a little bit tighter. It doesn't have the bobble head, but it's a little loose. Comes to his shoulders. Get his shoulders up this far. Fits right into those grooves. Not sure what to call that joint in there. It's just a hinge joint, but made to look like a ball underneath. A 360 at that shoulder. He has a bicep swivel giving a full 360. Elbow bend this far. Coming to his wrist 360. It pegs in and out. And he has a hinge on it. He can hinge out that far, this far. And it looks like it's like double peg where you can put it in deeper. And when you put it in deeper, you don't get that much articulation, but you don't have that gap in there. But if you pop it out, you get more of a range of motion out of it. And next up, coming to his waist, fully 360. Thing could be a little bit tight. I can see this thing getting a lot loose after kids playing with it. No ab crunch, but he can bend over, I guess, to get the exact same thing out of it, and he can bend back. But no ab crunch to speak of. His legs come out to the side this far. Because of the way it's designed, it just doesn't, I don't necessarily think it's hitting anything. Oh yeah, it's hitting like, no. You just can't get it up that far to the sides. To the front, it's not getting that far, and the legs are kind of heavy. It's sagging down just a little bit. And to the back, that's all you get because it hits that part. And then he has a thigh swivel, which breaks up the sculpt. They should have put like a ball at the top to move it around better, instead of having that just cut right there to break it up. This is not that big of a deal. And then to his knee, it is a double hinge knee joint. Wow, did not expect that out of this figure, and it comes back that far. To his foot, and it's a little bit of a rock here and there, not much because it's hitting the side walls of his boots. And comes down this far, and it goes up that far, and which is not much. And as I always say, articulation is only as good as the positions you can get a figure in. Well, I guess part of articulation is his doors open to his chest to accommodate the matrix of leadership, and there is the little deco inside. I don't know if that's a gray piece of plastic. I think it's just gray paint. Looks like paint. and there's a little bit of molded in detail there, not much. I guess it goes along with the type of figure this is. The door is a clear plastic with red overspray paint on it. Here is his matrix, and it looks to be the same on both sides. Normally they make a defined front and back, with one side being closed more or completely closed. But I'm pretty sure this is the top because it has like a little notch that the bottom doesn't have right here. And he has a little notch at the top just there. So let's get the matrix in his chest. And the plastic of the matrix is the same color as the rest of the chest. We couldn't get like a different gray paint at all. But it goes in there, closed securely, and now you can see the matrix completely within his chest. Alright, his first set of hands, the left and the right, are some like sort of open hands, like kind of a neutral gesture depending on where you pose it. It can, I'm assuming it just pops out. And that's a long peg in there, right? So we're gonna go with this hand on the right. Like it's really, really neutral. The left hand, see how they work together. Man, that peg is long as hard, and I lost the head. Well, there we can get his hands sort of kind of on his hips a little bit. Sorry about the camera work. Pointing hand. I love a pointing hand from all my characters, no matter what toy line it is. Especially the leaders, the good and the bad. Oh wait, this is two rights, huh? The second set of hands is two right hands. I didn't even realize that. So, okay, well, we have the pointing hand and Ironhide. I want you to make a special run to Autobot City on Earth. And the same articulation applies. So, yeah, that's cool. Gun, the rifle holding hand. Oh, and I just love the look of Optimus Prime's gun. It's always been cool. And this one is no different. It's not the greatest, but it has molded in detail. It's black plastic with some gray, ghost gray paint on it. Or slightly different than the paint on his legs. I'm surprised. Oh, it's the same as the smokestack. I know they don't spread a lot of paint around. There is the gun, and he can hold it at the hilt, I'm assuming, and not the clip like the Generation 1. All right, I got it in there, and it wasn't too bad. You can, if you work with it, you can get the trigger finger in the trigger. Yeah, I think I got it. And he can hold it in the trigger. Wonder if he can put two hands on this thing at all. I'm sure if you work with it, you can get him to hold. I don't think he's going to hold it, but you can position him like he has it. EX, the famous Interject. This one, for cartoon accuracy, they didn't go for like on the cartoon. It had like a point on the top, and the masterpiece figure, the MP44, finally got it right. But as far as cartoon accuracy, they're supposed to be cartoon accurate. It doesn't have the little arrow tip on the point like the medieval axe or whatever. So and the bottom is red plastic, which is kind of weird. And you put it in there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Here he is with the Energy X Optimus Prime battling Megatron. Yeah, not a spectacular figure, and I'm trying to figure out what audience this figure is actually for, because it's obviously a take on a figure on a look from 1984, right? So that puts the 40+ crowd. But far as it doesn't transform. Hasbro has already sold us Earthrise, Siege, and Walmart reissue Optimus Prime. So, I mean, and I'm a sucker for another Optimus Prime because obviously I bought another one. But like who is this actually for, man? I mean, it looks kind of like the Christmas ornament version, you know, like I don't know, because it doesn't transform. The detail isn't over spectacular at all, man. I don't know. It's okay, but for 19 bucks, right at $20, we should say 20 bucks. For the 20 bucks price range that you get Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends, McFarlane figures, and what have you, whatever you collect, right at that price range, it's like you can get a more dynamic figure, a figure with with more to it. I don't know. Maybe they figure they could just get into that market at that price range and sell a cost-effective figure for them to us. And which I bought one, but I'm not blown away. I don't see myself. I started to get Soundwave just because the tape comes out of his chest, but I don't see myself collecting this line. I think this is it. One more Optimus because I'm a sucker for another Optimus, and that's pretty much it for me. All right, let's do a little bit of comparison. I'm going to bring out the Generation 1 Optimus Prime. See how he looks, see how he scales. Bring out a more recent Earthrise Optimus Prime. Now these figures aren't in the same price point, but Earthrise Grapple is. I'm going to bring out Earthrise Grapple. And you could just look and see, for the same price, you get a lot more figure. And again, I don't know what the point exactly is of getting this other than another Optimus Prime. And I love Optimus Prime, but I don't see the point. And again, at the same price point, you can get a much more dynamic figure. If you switch toy lines, Marvel Legends, you can get something like this. A much more articulated, dynamic figure. And again, I kind of don't see what the audience is for this other than just more Optimus Prime, more Transformers, more brand. All right, my final thoughts on this figure. It's a well-made toy, and if you just love Optimus Prime, it's decent. It's nice, but I bought it just to give it a shot, just check it out because it was Optimus Prime. But I cannot just recommend it like just for toy collectors. Like, yeah, this is a cool Optimus Prime. You need to go out and get it. For right around 20 bucks. It's under 20 bucks, 18 bucks at Walmart. That's where I got it. I don't think they sell it anywhere. I haven't seen it anywhere but Walmart. But just under 18 bucks, your money could be better spent somewhere else on a more dynamic figure from any toy line, and that's coming from a Transformers guy. So thank you for watching another episode of George Reviews, the reviews where every toy has a story. Not much on this guy.